I would like to speak about what happened to Rob Reiner and his wife. So here we've got an article that we can discuss. And the title is Rob Reiner and wife Michelle's official cause of death revealed 3 days after murders. Rob and Michelle's son, Nick, is charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder in connection with their death. So for those of you who don't know, Rob Reiner and wife were murdered in their own home. They were stabbed. Believe it or not, even me saying this word now will demonetize the video. So thank you for all the support. It literally happened when I talked about Irina Zaruska. The whole video was demonetized because I just described what happened. But that's what we need to deal with. Anyways, so they were, as they were sleeping, I believe. It's an awful thing that happened to them. I'm not going to read the whole article, but I want to read a little bit. Robert Reiner and his wife, Michelle, died of multiple sharp force injuries. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Office has determined that the manner of death was ruled a homicide. The couple's son, Nick Reiner, has since been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder in connection with the death of his parents. Previously, the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office said Rob and Michelle were to death in their Los Angeles home during the early morning hours of Sunday, December 14th. Nick was arrested near the University of Southern California several hours after his parents' bodies were found, authorities said. Okay, so if you follow me on X, I went on an absolute rampage in the sense that I posted something like 12, 13 separate posts about this the entire day. I want to start with the first post that I made so that you see what my stance is, what I think about this, and what I think any person with basic human decency should react to something as horrific as this. Before we talk about any politics, in fact, I don't even think bringing up this person's politics matters in this situation. We will, because I know that people will in the comments, people did under my post. Let's read it. I said, what happened to Rob Reiner and his wife is absolutely horrific. Being stabbed to death by their own son in their own home is a tragedy no one should celebrate, no matter what you think about his politics. If you can't offer condolences and you can't show decency, sit this one out. Get offline for a few days. So this is my general basic stance on this. Believe it or not, some people get really upset. I got some backlash because of it. Somehow, and I really don't understand how this is possible, but people, after I spent the last 3 months of my life and almost 180 posts pointing the finger and going after every single progressive of left or left-winger liberal that laughed at Charlie Kirk's death, and I said that that was indecent, inappropriate, awful, evil. After all of that, somehow people thought that I was gonna laugh and celebrate the death of Rob Reiner because he's a left-winger, or because he was an ultra-liberal, whatever the heck you want to call him. Like how? How are people expected? Wouldn't that be, in fact, worth of unsubscribing at that point? Wouldn't that be a lack not only of basic human morality and decency, but just coherence? Like if I found, and if you found, what some of the worst the left has to offer, if you found what they did when they celebrated Charlie Kirk's death, and they laughed and giggled and did all the disgusting TikTok dances and all that nonsense, if you thought that that was deplorable, despicable, and you attacked it, as you should, then shouldn't we show then how it's done? Because otherwise we become just like them. There are 3 types of people. I want to make this one clear. There are 3 types of people when it comes to what happened to Charlie Kirk and how they reacted. And then we'll see how this works in this situation. And then I'll hear what you have to say and I'll listen to your words. But here's the thing. There are 3, we saw 3 types of people. You had people that laughed and celebrated, okay? They are scum when Charlie Kirk died. Then you have people on the opposite side that said, oh, what happened to him is awful. It's disgusting. I'm saying on the left. What happened to him is awful. It's disgusting. I condemn it. Great. And then you had lukewarm people. And they annoy me. Not as much as the people that celebrated, clearly, but they do annoy me because what they do is that they want to say what happened to Charlie Kirk is disgusting, it's awful, it should have never happened. But they have to make a massive premise to virtue signal and say, so, I thought that what he was saying was wrong and I disagree with all of his politics and I do not agree with him, guys. Did you hear me? I'm not a bigot. I didn't agree with the guy. His politics were awful. His message was dangerous and I really, really mean it. I disagreed. I'm one of you guys. I'm one of the good guys. But it shouldn't have never happened and I condemn the violence. You know, I'm never going to do that because it shows that you are afraid. It shows that you are scared that people, just because you're being decent, you don't need a justification to be decent. And if you think that your side, so in that case, the left, radical, if you think that they're gonna now think simply because you're showing human decency towards what happened to Charlie and his family, if then they think you're some kind of traitor, or are you saying that then you agreed with these bigoted views? It's on them. F them. Likewise, I'm not gonna do that now. I'm not even going to premise it with, so guys, as a conservative, I disagreed with the takes of Rob Reiner. Who cares? I don't need to do that. To justify what? Basic human decency? No. I'm just going to say what happened to him is disgusting. It's awful. In fact, I can't shake from, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm weird, but I can't shake from my mind the thought that this man and his wife, they went to bed without knowing that would have been the last time that they could have talked to each other. Imagine the things they could have said. You know, if that happened to me, I would have wanted, of course you can't know it, but perhaps I would have told my wife that I loved her one last time. And then instead, this guy woke up, maybe he woke up to his wife screaming as she was being, and he couldn't defend her. Who cares about the politics? Right? I don't have to. It's not a sign of weakness to show human basic decency. I disagree with this part. Who cares? I don't need to say it though. And I hate that people will expect that. And that's the first thing that I want to say to begin with. And this is going to be a deep one. I got a lot of things. Because yes, I've seen people laughing about it. Then at that point, the people that are laughing about it and saying it's funny, people with 150,000 followers, by the way, not a random guy with one follower, people that saying it's funny, he deserved it, and that kind of stuff, you're doing the same thing. And then the people that were, so then you're in no position to do what I did and point the finger at the people that laughed at Charlie Kirk. I can do it. And so can you if you maintain decency. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that we need to stop now fighting this war for what we believe in. No, absolutely. Stand firm. Defend what you believe in firmly. But when something like this happens, I think it's important to also show a little bit of basic human decency. Because it is atrocious. Your own son. Can you imagine that? The son was a lunatic? Yeah, probably at this point. I think there's a drug situation. Even if people disagree, it doesn't mean to wish such a horrible thing to happen. Absolutely. It isn't funny. How can people say it's funny? It's insane. All right, so one thing I want to say, and this is going to be a little bit of a social experiment. Follow along with me and tell me if you really think, man, this is true. You know what's funny? And it's not funny, but I'm saying it's funny simply because it's otherwise I'm going to scream. So I'll just unironically say it's funny even though it's not. Is that when it comes to like basic human decency in a civic sense, as people who live and share a country, for instance, I'm sure, 100% guaranteed that there will be things that I can say and everyone will agree with me. For instance, I could say, you know what, I think it's wrong to litter. It's wrong to just go around and throw rubbish and garbage on the floor of the city. It's not private property, it's public, it's a public space, and it's nice as citizens that share a city to keep it clean. And I know for a fact that people will agree with me. Doesn't matter at that point if you're like a freaking Christian nationalist, far-right, centrist, left-wing. It doesn't matter. Who is going to say, no, it's good, yeah, litter everything, destroy all of that? No. Most people will agree as a basic concept of decency within a civic environment. Let's not litter in the middle of the street. Likewise, most people, I'm saying, of course, the people that do litter won't care about it, but I'm saying in general. If I say, when you are using public transport, you shouldn't be a nuisance. You shouldn't scream like a maniac or misbehave. And I think most people will be like, yeah, absolutely, yeah, it's true. I can come up with 100 of these. 100 things when it comes, it's just a matter of being decent and being not rude and being polite. A lot of people will agree regardless of politics, whatever your leanings, when it comes to social issues, when it comes to economics, whatever, what have you. We'll agree on this. You know what it is that we disagree these days instead? Cold-blooded murder. That's the one thing that when I say, I'll give you 2 examples. Someone says something I disagree with, I think it's good that he gets shot. Or if I say, oh, that person, they died in an atrocious situation, it's perfectly fine to dance on their grave, ha ha ha, it's appropriate answer. We got into a space where now the answer to that will be, I don't know, what were their politics? Oh, was he a conservative? Then it's a bigot, he deserves it. Likewise. Oh, he was a Trump deranged liberal? Oh, he deserved it. How? How can we live in a mental space now whereby, yeah, you shouldn't litter, the floor is fine, but bloody murder is, that's the one thing that we'll disagree on, because it depends. Is he a bigot? Is he a commie? Goodness gracious, how did we even get here? I don't know. Well, hopefully you'll help me understand that. But that's where we are right now. Continuing. For instance, there were a few takes I wanted to share with you. Let's see what you guys think. Andrew Colvett, whoever he is, he said, Rob Reiner responded with grace and compassion to Charlie's assassination. This video makes it all the more painful to hear of he and his wife's tragic end. May God be close to the brokenhearted in this. And I said, very good and compassionate take by Andrew here. And yeah, I don't know if you watched it. Now, you will. I know that some people in chat will show me something something crazy that Rob said. They will put it in my chat, but Rob said this. Right, but they did the same with Charlie Kirk. They took a random thing, they put it in there, while people are saying what happened to him is tragic, and they'll put you, yeah, but he said this, so what? And after time, those quotes weren't even real. Which, by the way, today I'm going to debunk one of the quotes that they are associating. I know there are quite a few batshit takes that are associated to Rob Reiner, but there are also, which are real, but there are also some that are false, and people are bringing them up just because that's what they do. And still, regardless of what take you, unless it's like a direct threat or incitement to violence, then I'm thinking, why didn't the authorities get involved at that point? But if it's something simply on the basis of, well, I disagree, then no, I don't think it's good that he died the way he did. So I liked this. And when it comes to, Rob Reiner did respond publicly to what happened to Charlie Kirk. And to be fair, he was nice. So I appreciated that. I did appreciate that. But I'm telling you, even if he didn't, that doesn't mean that now I'm going to base my morality on the worst my enemies have to offer. I'm not going to base my moral compass on, but the worst the progressive side has to offer did this, they laughed and such, so I'm going to do the same, that they're going to be no, if anything, because I hate that, I'm going to do the opposite of what they're doing. And even though I do it because I truly believe it in my heart, even if you don't believe that, it just makes more sense even at the tactical level. Yeah, same with Think Before You Sleep. You might know the channel. He has been exposing the likes of Abroad in Japan. Excellent channel. And he says, RIP Rob Reiner, what a horrible thing to happen. Nice, short, concise, to the point. Excellent. This was good. To me, this was good. And then this guy instead, Stixhammer666, appropriately numbered, and he has 150,000 followers on X, by the way. This isn't a small account. He says, funny to see people simping from Rob Reiner. Are you insane? I'm not going to pretend it is anything but funny that he's dead. Virtue signal. I'm not virtue signaling anything, you satanic slave. I'm not virtue signaling anything. If anything, I'm just trying to be decent because I hate people like you on either side at this point. Now, did we get the same numbers of people laughing at Rob Reiner's death when compared to the number of people that laughed at Charlie Kirk? No, there were more people that laughed at Charlie Kirk. Maybe this also has to do with the fact that Charlie Kirk was more prominent in the political space. I don't know, you would need an actual analyst, but I did look at the numbers, and it's not the same. No one is saying it's the same, though. The only thing that is the same is my approach to tragedy. And someone that you'll see, I'll show you all names and receipts today, someone said that that's me trying to be holier than thou, and it's not. Although then again, the bar is so low with these kind of people that literally everyone is holier than them. Everyone watching, holier than them, holier than them. It's the easiest thing in the world because they keep the bar so low. But it's not even for that. It's not for that. I'm doing it not only because it's what I believe in, first. Second, it's because I believe that that's what Jesus would want me to do, and I'm a Christian. And I'm a Christian doesn't mean that I'm going to not defend myself. No, I'm not a hippie. Okay, so I'm not one of those Christians that are like hippie 2.0, but at the same time, I'm not going to follow Satan. You know what I mean? I thought that would be obvious. In fact, that's not the only post that this scumbag clown did. He also said this, he, good riddance. And I've seen quite a few. And I say, what the hell are you laughing at, appropriately, hell? This is a tragedy. So, awful response by some people. It really is despicable to see people reacting like that. Also because his daughter his daughter found them. His daughter was completely innocent when it comes to this. found both parents, and now has to live not only with the trauma, but also with the fact that it was her own brother who did it. Can you imagine that? And I get it. Maybe we're being desensitized to this because we think, I don't care, she's probably a white liberal. Apart from the fact you don't know. Maybe she's apolitical. Maybe she doesn't care. But even if, I'm looking at her as a human being. I'm not looking at her as, oh, but I disagree with the politics. Not now. Give it a few hours, give it a few days, give it a few weeks, give it a few months. I mean, whatever. Goodness gracious. So yeah. Another person of large following, Laura Loomer, I think she had an awful take on this. She said, Rob Reiner was a loser, she says. Do you remember when we were saying, man, Charlie Kirk has just died and these people are waiting, this body's still warm, they're already jumping on him, on his widow. There you go. Naturally, his son was also a loser and he got addicted to drugs and allegedly murdered his parents. And then she posted this, right? To kind of justify, see, so I can call him a loser because Rob Reiner said this. So what did he say? Let's read it. Rob Reiner, until Trump goes to prison, I will no longer be posting on Twitter. I've had it with the insults and put downs. F all of you MAGA assholes. Right. You know what the problem is with this? Is that he never said it. Now, do you remember Stephen King made statements about Charlie Kirk and said, oh, Charlie Kirk was a bigot. I'm not going to laugh or cry for this. He was a bigot because he wanted gay people stoned to death. And then there was a false claim. He never said it. It's the same thing. She's doing the same thing because I checked this, guys. It's false. He never said this. He never said it. So I said, awful take. What happened to this man and his wife is terrible. Now it's not the time to talk about his politics. It's time to show compassion to the family and the victims. I know, guys, that the word compassion and the word empathy has been jeopardized and it has been utilized to manipulate you. I get it. But we also need to understand that now compassion and empathy hasn't become an evil thing just because there are some elements within the political space that manipulate it and use it to manipulate you. I know, but we need to be balanced on some things to the family and victims. Have you learned nothing from the disgusting responses towards Charlie Kirk and what happened to him? You're doing the same. You say loser, they say bigot, and I say you're all indecent. His family is grieving, his daughter's scarred for life, be decent. Also, it seems like he didn't even make the post. Sounds a lot like what Stephen King did towards Charlie Kirk when he posted about Charlie wanting to stone gay people, which was not true. He, meaning Stephen King, apologized once corrected. Will you? I'm just going to say this because, you know, when Stephen King did that, I was ready to go to freaking war against the man to defend Charlie Kirk. But he apologized. So, was he in the wrong? Yes. But I appreciated the apology, so I didn't make an entire video as I was going to do because, you know me, I attacked every single, like, I literally being on a hunt. I'm being on a blood hunt for the people that were indecent towards Charlie Kirk. But here we are. So at least the guy did apologize and said, I was wrong. I shouldn't have said that. I should have double checked. Is she going to do it? I don't know, but I'm calling you out right now, Laura Chen. I don't even care if we may. I don't even follow her, to be honest, but maybe we do have, maybe we agree on things about politics. Who knows? At this point, I don't care. I'm going to ask you directly. Are you going to say it? Are you going to retract that? Mocking death, especially murder, is as low as someone can get. I agree. So yeah, Ryan says, the moment they started jumping for joy over Charlie Kirk, they opened the door to this happening to theirs when they are taken away from them in horrific ways. Right, but as I say, I don't base my morality on the worst my enemy has to offer. I can still fight for the politics, I can still fight for what I believe in, I can still fight for... Also because, by the way, the reason why I was saying this isn't tactically advantageous. It's because, yeah, I mean, if you are completely radicalized, then you'll agree with that, whatever. And you'll say, well, serves you right. You did it to us, we do it to them. Great. But all the swing states, with all the centrists, the moderates, the people, that's not going to work well with them. You're going to lose votes. It doesn't work. Instead, it's a great opportunity to take the moral ground. Still, again, don't let your enemy walk over you if you really want to look at it this way. But showing a basic level of decency also because, once again, I've seen people that claim to be Christian and they are laughing all over this. They're saying, I hope this happens to his daughter now. Sorry, but you'll have to be judged over that. And I'm not going to want to be you. But I'm telling you that much. When I die, I want to be able to tell the Lord, I was firm, I fought for what I believe in, I fought for my family and their future, but I didn't go down to the same level as these awful people. No, I'm not going to do that. But again, why would people expect that from me after what I did with Charlie Kirk? It's scary and sad that country's politics has become so divided that people are justifying. Absolutely, yeah. DB completely irrelevant, but I rewatched The Princess Bride. Yes, I read this one. And as I say, I know I'm talking a little bit about strategy as well, because I know that that's the only thing that will connect to people. But to me, it's not even about that. It's just about, I don't like laughing at people's murder. I don't think we would give a good example to the youth, to the people watching, to the people looking at us as content creators, particularly if we have a decent following. And then they look at us and then they see that we laugh and we mock. What example are we giving to the new generation? To me, that's important. And if people are going to think, man, you're so obnoxious, you think you're better than other people, so be it. At this point, I don't care. As long as it works and I give a good example to the younger following that I have on social media, and they're like, you know what, I thought that being all about, serves you right, the burn in hell was cool, but now that I see this, I actually think I want to be like this, then it worked. And then I'm fine with people thinking that I'm some kind of condescending, arrogant person that just believes is pontificating on what's morally right. No, I mean, if we're laughing at bloody murder, I don't think it doesn't even need moral pontification. Should it? Are we really that low? Goodness gracious. But anyways, let's read Trump. See what Trump said. All right. So Trump said, a very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Starting good. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away, together with his wife, Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump. With his obvious paranoia reaching new heights, can't even read it well, as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectation of greatness, and with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before, may Rob and Michelle rest in peace. Okay, so let's talk about this. Good beginning, good ending, stuff in the middle. Personally, and I'm just going to say it, I think it's out of place. I think it's out of place and it's in poor taste. Some people call me a traitor because of it, by the way. Somehow, let's be honest about this. The only person I'm never going to criticize is Jesus Christ. Everyone else, Pope included, is open to criticism. Right? I think that makes sense. So to me, obviously, because there are also people telling me, so are you saying that this is as bad as people wanting for the children of Charlie Kirk to be offed? Obviously not. Clearly not. But I can still say, while I'm not equating the two, I can still say, personally, I wouldn't have made it about myself, meaning the Trump derangement syndrome, and I wouldn't have made it into a kind of political pushing on to look how good the administration is doing right now, because he has plenty of situations where he can do that. He doesn't. Personally, I think that was out of place, and I would have just left it at this. Imagine what a potent statement it would have been if President Trump said, "A very sad things happened last night in Hollywood. May Rob and Michelle rest in peace." I think that would have been, because then people could have said, you see, radical nut jobs tried to off this man with an assassination attempt, and he said this. Because to be fair, yes, he did have Trump derangement syndrome. It's clear. No one is saying that that's not true. I'm just saying it would have been such a much more powerful statement from the presidency and a lot more appropriate. You can call it pearl clutching. No, I'm just sharing my opinion. Everyone is open to be criticized. Nothing wrong with that. It's just how it is. So, yeah, of course I understand the guy, they almost shot him dead. I get it. And sometimes, he's vindictive. I still think he's better than Kamala Harris. I cannot stand Kamala Harris. But think about that for a moment. If you're a conservative or you're watching this, and as many of you are, imagine that someone asks you, do you like Kamala Harris? And you're going to say, no, I freaking hate her guts. So does that then give people on the left a justification for laughing about your death? I say no. So likewise, just because Rob Reiner hated Trump, I don't think that that should be enough of a justification for us to then dance on his grave. That's just me. That's my philosophy. Agreed, disagree, whatever you like. Let me see what you guys are saying before we move to the last person that I wanted to cover. This guy, my gosh. Get ready because it's going to get... Oh, it's going to get really bad. It's going to get really bad. You'll see. I agree with you. Appreciate that. Thank you. His death was a loss to many. Yeah, his family. Personally, even if it was just his family. Lord forgive them because they know not what they do. Yeah, when it comes to extremism, I agree. To be honest, Sticks and Hammer response was a surprise to me. Yeah, I didn't know the guy. Maybe you do. I'm not going to follow that guy, ever. I can tell you that much. You say, in Trump we trust. And that's fine. If that's your political position, as I say, I do believe Trump was better than Kamala Harris. But I can still say when I disagree. Again, I made 4 videos criticizing the Pope as someone who was brought up Roman Catholic. I think anyone can be criticized for anything. Bless, brother. Thank you. Appreciate that. You're watching Asmongold? That's cool. Awesome. I didn't know it was live. So let me show you this last person that I had a massive clash with, which was insane. Can't believe it, but that happened. And it's going to get ridiculous, and then we move to the next topic. But it's going to get ridiculous. Where is he? Yes, this guy. So I just made my posts, my normal posts, and they triggered an individual called Isaiah L. Carter. Isaiah L. Carter. He really got pissed. And yeah, so this guy here, you can see the picture, he said, "You are the one angry at Trump for saying less than positive things about a deep state rat who was one of the several pushing the Russian collusion hoax. Stop it. And you're still congratulating yourself on somehow being above the fray," I never said that, "while refusing to address the reality of the middle part of what he said. Does it make you feel warm and to be such a coward?" Apparently I'm a coward. I'm a coward. Also, he said, "I stated my case yesterday. You and others' weakness in the face of darkness disgusts me." So he's disgusted because I said, guys, let's not laugh at a murder and a guy being, yeah, that's weakness. And then he says, "I'm not a Christian." So keep this one in mind. This guy thinks I am not a Christian because I am showing basic, not even advanced, basic compassion for someone who just died at the hands of their own son in their own house. That makes me not a Christian. So the reality that I would like to ask this guy, we tried to have a conversation, it was impossible, he just kept insulting me. There was no way. It was all twisting, the strawman and insults. He called me a little girl and all that. Yeah, okay. So it was impossible. But really, what is a Christian then? Someone who laughs at someone's death? Well, then all the progressives that laughed at Charlie Kirk, they're all fantastic Christians, are they? Man, I really swear, people like this, people like him, and he has got 150,000, 140,000 on X, doesn't even have a YouTube presence. People like him have such a contorted and twisted vision of what Christianity is, that it's completely unrecognizable at this point. You, like most conservatives apparently, have been beaten into weak enablement of leftists' evil in this country, he says. To me, and I made 180 videos to attack the radical left. But then I make one post when I say, yeah, but let's not do what they did to Charlie Kirk. Let's not laugh at this guy's death. Oh, then I'm what a clown. Oh, goodness gracious. And he kept going. He was like, you just say, yeah, apparently said, that's me, right? "Look upon me, for I am holier and more righteous than all of you on the internet. How dare this peon check me on my moral cowardice? The leopard must eat my face at the very last." Hilarious, absolutely. So this guy is I mean, there are a lot of things he said that are absolutely insane. Apparently I'm narcissistic, of course. That's what we have, guys. This is the moral fortitude that this is someone who, by the way, the passage that he used in the Bible, that one also I find it repulsive. That he will, I know that progressives use, and atheist progressives manipulate the Bible without any context, and they tell you, oh, but here it says to be nice to foreigners, and I'm like, it doesn't, it means legal. Like, let's look at the Hebrew word. So like, they do that. I know it's annoying, but he's doing the same thing, because he's saying, where is it? Ecclesiastes, a beautiful verse, by the way, that says, 3:1, there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. How this, which is a gorgeously deep passage, can be used as a justification for laughing at someone's death is beyond me. But hey, he tells you who the real Christian is, I guess. Yeah, I'm sure Satan agrees with you. And that's all I'm going to say about this topic, guys. That's all I'm going to say about this topic.